na ramoro chumena mataka ko ni rawone ni biba mataka ke misa ropo ni ana di sambulu bidang na sero gori sana churi kilo na moro chumai tuna sele ni sambula oyo Mr. Ben kelapa na magikira ni biba mataka moni chikira borombu kama na ono kene diwa ena bula FM
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, suspended MP Ratunaingama's constitutional redress case in court. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama meets Chinese President Xi Jinping. And Fiji calls on EU to be more flexible on vulnerable Pacific ACP economies over economic partnership agreement. The lawyer for suspended MP Ratunaingama Lalambalavu has been given 14 days to reconsider an application for a constitutional redress concerning Ratunaingama's suspension from Parliament. The constitutional redress was filed against the Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Chico Luveni, and Attorney General Ayaz Said Kayum. Eleanor Turangaivu was in court and files this report.
Ratunaingama's lawyer Simeone Valinitambo filed an amendment to the original application for constitutional redress in court today. The initial summons seeks a constitutional redress over the Speaker of Parliament's powers to suspend Ratunaingama. The amended summons now includes a separate motion on the contravention of Ratunaingama's rights under the Constitution. Presiding Judge Chief Justice Anthony Gates told Valinitambo he has to consider the applications carefully to ensure there is no duplication, as the court will not entertain it. Valinitambo then told the court they will now consider consolidating the two applications. Outside court, Valinitambo explained to FBC News why there was an amendment.
Under the constitutional redress rules, if you commence proceedings, trying to show the court that there were contraventions of your constitutional rights under the Constitution, you have to come by way of motion. So that's what we've done. We've separated the two.
Lawyer for the plaintiffs, Solicitor General Sharvada Sharma, told the court the AG's office was served the originating summons on the 7th of this month, but has not been served the amended summons. The Solicitor General also told the court that after being served the originating summons, they have filed an application to strike out the redress case. Valinitambo has been given until the 30th of this month to consider what exactly they are claiming in court.
We've been given time to make the necessary applications in respect of putting both into one, or just consider what position we'll take after getting instructions from our client.
Ratunaingama was suspended for Parliament for 2 years for casting a slur at the Speaker during a constituency meeting earlier this year. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has met with China's President Xi Jinping in the country's capital, Beijing. CCTV reports President Xi Jinping says this year marks the opening year of the two countries' strategic partnership. President Xi says China is ready to enhance communications between the two governments, legislative and political parties. He also vowed to strengthen cooperation on issues of UN security reform as well as climate change under the UN framework. Bainimarama praised President Xi Jinping's visit to Fiji last year, saying it had lifted their bilateral ties to a new level. He also expressed gratitude for China's long-term support to Fiji. Bainimarama adds Fiji considers China an important partner in its national development strategy and is prepared to strengthen cooperation in various fields, including international and regional issues. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has encouraged potential investors in Beijing to invest in Fiji. Bainimarama is on a state visit to China. Akosita Tale reports.
A reception hosted in honor of Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama and his delegation was the perfect place to promote investment opportunities in Fiji.
The time to invest in Fiji is now. Don't leave it too long or you risk missing the boat. Take advantage of all the benefits we can offer as a hub of the Pacific and with some of the best investment incentives in the region.
Bainimarama says Fiji is keen to attract Chinese investment in the IT industry, manufacturing such as food processing, shipbuilding and vehicle manufacturing, construction, renewable energy and tourism. However, potential Chinese investors have been told to consider Fiji's environment while doing business.
I want to stress that we regard the protection of our environment as our overriding development priority. So whatever investment you consider must be environmentally friendly. We also have a policy of zero tolerance of corruption, and there are harsh penalties in Fiji for bribery and other forms of corruption.
Bainimarama also reminded the investors to be honest and balance their commercial interests with the interests of every Fijian. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
The Reserve Bank of Fiji says the Fijian economy is poised for its 6th year of consecutive growth. RBF Governor Barry Whiteside says growth is forecast at 4.3% this year. Investment to GDP will remain above 25% for the third consecutive year, with the private sector underpinning this number. Private sector investment, excluding government-funded projects, is estimated at 13.5% of GDP.
What is important, however, about this growth is that it continues to be broad-based, with all major sectors of the economy forecasted to register increases. In addition, we are looking at tourism and the sugar sectors to continue to be at the forefront.
The governor added that while the tourism and sugar industries performed exceptionally well last year, they are, however, mindful of the prolonged dry spell in the West. Fiji is calling on the European Union to see the fact that the Pacific ACP region comprises of the most vulnerable economies and therefore deserve flexibility and consideration in the Economic Partnership Agreement, or EPA. The call was made by the Permanent Secretary for Trade, Shaheen Ali, at the Pacific ACP Trade and Fisheries meeting in Suva today. Ali Kimbia has more.
The Pacific ACP Trade and Fisheries meeting is at a juncture where very important decisions regarding the Economic Partnership Agreement need to be made by Pacific Trade and Fisheries ministers of the ACP group. With Papua New Guinea pulling out of the negotiations, this meeting is vital for the other Pacific ACP member countries to come out with a final decision regarding the EPA.
And apart from the issues that are before us on our agenda, we firmly believe that this meeting is one where we need to, again, empower ourselves, take back some control of these negotiations, I think, and chart our own course, and of course determine the future of our economic and trade relations with the EU.
One of the key objectives is to discuss adjustments that can be made to the Pacific ACP negotiating position without compromising the core defensive position of EPA negotiations.
It is our responsibility as senior officials to ensure that we have robust, frank, and considered discussions on these issues and identify any possible areas of convergence and provide the best possible advice and recommendations to our ministers and eventually our leaders on how the PACP-EU EPA negotiations can be concluded.
The comprehensive EPA agreement remains a key priority for several Pacific ACP states. There is also a need for the region to have a development-friendly agreement with the EU to obtain a regional solidarity. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
We will remember them. Commemorative service held for the second Fijian contingent who served in the First World War. That and more after the break.
If you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker.
Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark.
Unpresented checks have been a major challenge for government coffers. The Public Accounts Committee today heard that Office of the Prime Minister recorded a total of $89 million in unpresented checks for the year end 2014. Maggie Boyle with the story.
The Public Accounts Committee hearing continued today with the Office of the Prime Minister asked to explain issues highlighted in the Auditor General's reports from 2010 through to 2013. Here is an extract of today's deliberations. Director of Internal Audit, Ministry of Finance, Mariani Naisara.
In regards to the Prime Minister's office, sir, their reconciliation is now updated. Their unpresented checks been increased from 25 million to 89 million in 2014.
From the Office of the Prime Minister, Acting Permanent Secretary Pennyana Lalambalavu.
One factor that contributed to the recurring of some of these issues was the transformation period from the manual to automation of the government accounting system. The migration of data from manual to the FMIS system, supported by the staff capacity in the accounting cadre, managing the accounts of government was a challenge for management.
The committee also heard from the Director of Corporate Services, OPM, and Principal Accountant Moape Rokosuka.
In 2012, the Prime Minister's hold about 4 to 5 portfolios, and all of his travelling in terms of locally and overseas are made from our office. And as already mentioned in terms of budget constraint, our work at the Office of the Prime Minister in facilitating the PM's travel is to ensure that we deliver as requested. So when we have some kind of request came in and we look through our budget, we don't have funds in our overseas travel, we look through other means within our budget.
Committee Chairman Dr. Biman Prasad, while emphasising their challenges, called into question the use of a consultant without prior approval.
I hope that you have appropriate budget now. From what I get, you don't seem to have the appropriate budget, and therefore, you, as you highlighted, you're having difficulty in doing what you're required to do. And that takes me to this other issue in 2010, where the engagement of one of the companies to implement the performance management system. The audit is saying that there was no tender board, no PSC approvals for appointing consultant, and no contract agreement.
Lalambalavu explaining that time was against them.
This agility system was referred to us by the Ministry of Finance. As we listened to them, we knew that they were able to do our framework. But for the whole period of 2010, for most part, we were trying to get ITC to work with agility. We could not. But because we were being pressured to have the monitoring system in place, it went ahead.
On the issue of ministerial salaries being paid by a private accountancy firm from 2010 to 2012 and reverting in 2013 to government payroll, Lalambalavu told the committee that a written response would be submitted at a later date. The Public Accounts Committee is expected to hold further hearings tomorrow with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Education. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The insurance industry continues to perform positively over the years, with 2014 being a huge success. Reserve Bank of Fiji Governor Barry Whiteside acknowledged the performance of the life insurance sector while launching a BSP Life new product called Bulla Smart. Ellen Stolz has the story.
Fiji is currently experiencing sustained buoyancy in domestic economic activity, which will positively impact the market performance. RBF Governor Barry Whiteside says the financial sector, which includes the insurance industry, is expected to continue to provide strong contributions towards the economic growth that Fiji has been experiencing.
A key highlight of the 2014 industry performance was the increase in the total assets of the life insurance sector by 4.6% to an all-time high of $1 billion at the end of 2014.
He says such an initiative could not have come at a better time. The governor adds that as the economy expands, there will be an increase in economic transactions through risk transfer and indemnification, therefore leading to an increase in insurance products.
It is envisaged that as the economy expands, there will be an increase in economic transactions through risk transfer and indemnifications, thereby increasing the demand for insurance products.
BSP Life Managing Director Malakai Nyanga says the Mbula Smart product is the first for his company and Fiji.
Underwriting and life insurance are inextricably linked. So to introduce a product without the requirement for medical assessments and health declarations is a major milestone for BSP Life and for the Fiji market.
Customers below the age of 75 can sign up for the insurance policy, and Nyanga says he hopes that this product will add greater breadth to their existing product range. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
A commemorative service for the second Fijian contingent who served in the First World War was held at the National War Memorial Site at Nasese Suva today. Among guests were descendants of 124 veterans who volunteered to take up arms in 1915 for the British Empire. Savara Tambua has more.
A somber occasion as guests lay wreaths at the memorial site in memory of brave soldiers who fought for freedom in World War I. It was a time of reflection for family members of the former war veterans.
I'm thankful to government for providing the commemoration services for our forefathers. I am fortunate to attend the services and I am really grateful for it.
President Ratuepeli Nalatikau paid tribute to the veterans and read the names of all 124. Some women were also part of the second contingent. A commemorative service for the first contingent of veterans was held at the site in August last year. The War Memorial Site is a reminder to everyone who sacrificed their lives to ensure good triumphed over evil. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
The National Fire Authority has completed its investigation into a fire which destroyed 6 flats in Howell Road, Suva 2 days ago. Chief Fire Officer John O'Connor says they have interviewed the victims and other people who were present at the scene and are now testing some materials gathered from the site. A report is expected to be compiled by early next week. 5 families lost all their belongings in the blaze on Tuesday afternoon. More than 30 people are now sheltering at the Sangam Hall. Meanwhile, the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation has launched an appeal to help raise funds for the victims. You can contribute by depositing funds to Westpac account number 9800530389. The Department of National Planning continues to gather views and concerns from the public as the consultations enter the 3rd week. The views will be vital for the government to prepare its national development framework. Residents of Kalambu and Naitasiri today presented views and concerns they would like to be addressed and be included in the development plan. Most of the contributions were to do with infrastructure and how it needs improvements, including basic amenities, transportation and utilities. The consultations continue around the country. And on that note, it's sports time now. Jamie's up with the latest.
Good Jackie, and good evening. Coming up, Flying Fijians make 8 changes for Pacific Cup opener. And we take a look at results from the Pacific Games. This and more after the break.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulabanaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
First up in sports tonight, the Vodafone Flying Fijians have made 8 changes for the Pacific Nations Cup clash against Tonga this weekend. Coach John McKee made the alterations to give his squad enough game time and to examine different combinations he may use at the World Cup. Talent Daudakadaka has more.
The Flying Fijians are still hurting from their loss to the Maori All Blacks, but you could never guess this by the intensity in training today. Coach John McKee has made several positional changes to his lineup against Tonga to give all his players in the squad a chance to prove their worth.
We want to give all our players an opportunity, and it also gives us a chance with the players who are not involved in the match day 23, a hard training cycle. Our big picture is Rugby World Cup, and we've got to manage our players through the PNC to balance their training loads and game time.
As expected, centre Vereniki Ngwaneva will lead the side. Halfback Henry Seniloli will make his first appearance on home soil, with replacement Peveli Yato, the only uncapped player in the 23-man squad. The Flying Fijians see the PNC as a gateway to better their rankings and prepare for the World Cup.
Pacific Nation Cup is important, but also world rankings are important for us as well. So, winning games in this tournament, we're playing teams, that are just above us in the world rankings. So we would hope with a successful Pacific Nations Cup campaign, we can get back up there into the top 10.
Their opponents share the same sentiments in using the PNC as a selection tool for the World Cup.
This is the way to World Cup, and everybody's going to get tested in PNC. And it's really simple. If you don't make the cut here, you won't be on that plane to go to the World Cup.
The team looked in calm spirits in training for what is expected to be a cracker of a match on Saturday. FBC Sports.
The Fiji women's volleyball side defeated Solomon Islands 3-0 today at the Pacific Games in Papua New Guinea. Fiji took out the first set 25-20, won the second 25-16 before cruising to a 25-11 victory in the third. Meanwhile, the men's team plays Guam at 7 this evening. In beach volleyball, the men's side has qualified for the semi-finals. The Waisale Suka and Waisera Ratambu team defeated New Caledonia 2-0 today. The pair will now play the winner of the match between Cook Islands and Samoa in the semi-finals. Sprint king Banuve Tambakaudoro is the favorite to take out the men's 200-meter final at the Pacific Games tonight. Tambakaudoro clocked the fastest time in the heats last night.
In the middle of screen there, our 100-meter gold medalist, and you can see just how brilliant his starts are and how wonderfully this champion can run the bends. This transition is very, very important in 200-meter running, and just look at Banuve just clearing out on the rest of the field, powering home and sending an ominous message to the rest of the Pacific that he surely has got to be the guy to watch.
Looking at the medal tally, Fiji is fourth with 27 gold, 33 silver and 26 bronze. PNG leads with 53 gold, 45 silver and 41 bronze. New Caledonia has closed the gap on the hosts and has 47 gold, 38 silver and 39 bronze. Tahiti is third with 29 gold, 24 silver and 25 bronze. Para-table tennis gold medalist Mary Roden says she will not be satisfied until she qualifies for the Rio Olympics. The 47-year-old national rep was part of the first group of athletes that returned home from the Pacific Games on Tuesday. Josephine Avula reports.
Para-table tennis national rep Mary Roden was all smiles after arriving home with a gold medal from the Pacific Games. She says the competition has provided a great platform to develop her skills and also enable her to work further hard in the upcoming tournaments.
This is a big step up, a great achievement. But it doesn't mean that it's going to stop here. It means working harder because there's going to be more tougher competitions up ahead. I'm sure with my two partners who had competed, they're not just going to sit back. They are going to work hard to beat me somewhere around the next one or two competitions ahead.
Roden adds all her hard work and sacrifices have paid off.
I think I prepared well for the competition. I did my best out there. Table tennis is new to most of the Pacific countries, but it was good to see that PNG and Solomons came in to participate.
Roden also says the win was a special one for the team as they came under-equipped and played with wheelchairs not meant for the sport. Roden will also be competing in 3 other tournaments in order to qualify for the Olympics next year. Josephine Avula, FBC Sports.
And we wish Mary Roden all the best in those tournaments. That is your sports for tonight. Good evening.
The CPA Australia Fiji branch has received financial boost towards the preparation of the annual Congress. Westpac Bank and Vodafone Fiji Limited partnered up and provided $60,000 to the Congress organisers this morning. CPA Australia Fiji President Shanil Nandan says the financial assistance will help them to plan better.
This grand event, which has gained momentum over the past years, has been recognized as one of the premier Congress, which is only made possible through the support and the commercial support from Westpac and Vodafone. Both the sponsors have increased their sponsorship and have further renewed it for the next 3 years.
Generally fine weather prevailed over the country today. The coolest places today were Suva and Savusava recording 27 degrees on the temperature chart. Lambasa and Ba the warmest at 29 degrees. Tomorrow it will be fine in most places apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Outlook for Saturday is fine apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, cool at night. And the main points again. Suspended MP Ratunangama Lalambalavo's constitutional redress case called in court today. Prime Minister Vurengembani Marama meets Chinese President Xi Jinping, and Fiji calls on EU to be more flexible on vulnerable Pacific ACP economies over economic partnership agreement. Now to our poll segment. This week we're asking, should operating hours of nightclubs and bars be reviewed? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Good night.
घर संसार में आपका स्वागत है। आपका अपना छोटा सा स्वर्ग, जहाँ प्यार भरे रिश्ते पलते हैं, जहाँ हेल्थी रहने की सलाह दी जाती है, जहाँ हम आपको और भी सुंदर बनाते हैं और जहाँ स्वाद की सौगात भी है। नमस्कार, मैं हूँ पल्लवी। सोमवार से शुक्रवार 9 से 12 तक रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर घर संसार में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ।
ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना